Hi, this is part 4 of my estate series. In part 3, I started getting into what happens as you create an heirship affidavit, which is the document that's needed if there is no will when someone passes away and they own real estate. You have to build this affidavit, no matter what state you live in, to create heirship. You have to determine who the heirs are when someone has passed away. If you haven't watched part 3, I recommend that you watch that first. I started with the person and persons that are going to be required to sign an heirship affidavit once all the facts are put together and all the questions are answered. We just started with it being one person who passed, just one, and they had no will and they own real estate. Any kind of real estate property on dirt. Could be commercial, could be lots, could be a house on it, could be acreage, could be a farm, a ranch, anything that's considered real property, that's real estate. I am Karen Hayes, and I have worked in the real estate industry and in the title industry for over 4.5 decades. This is from my own experience of handling hundreds of transactions where we had to handle a sale for a family where someone passed away and they had no will. So here we are. We've got 2 disinterested parties, which are non-family members, that are required to sign an affidavit of heirship in the state of Texas. And one person who is a family member, so that's 3 people that are needed. Once we get all the facts, once the affidavit is prepared, that we need those 3 people to sign. Preferably, the 2 disinterested parties should not be family members, and they should not be a married couple, because that's as if there's one person. We try to get 2 people, a friend of the family, a neighbor, a pastor, anyone that's known that person at least 10 years and knows the history of the family. Okay, now we're down to, we've found the 2 people that can sign, that are friends of the family, a neighbor that knew the person for 10 years. Then we need the one family member that most likely has already signed a listing agreement with the real estate agent to list the property for sale. A title company has already done a title search at this point, and they can see that there was one person in title. That person is deceased, and they have a copy of a death certificate to show when that person passed away. It also shows other information that's necessary, such as who the parents were and if that person was married at the time of their death and who that person is. All right, now we are learning from the people, the parties involved that are willing to sign and swear to the facts of this person's life on an affidavit. We have to build the life of this person. Through that, sometimes we start asking questions and realize that some of the heirs are deceased also. That becomes very complicated, and that truly can slow down a transaction, sometimes months, sometimes years. It's super important, if someone is getting close to the end of life and you know it and you're a family member, that you work on some of this ahead of time so that you're not trying to build this family tree at the last minute and you don't even know the names of some of the kids involved. So let's assume this person was married once many years ago and had children from that marriage. Now we know that person was married, maybe that person passed away, or they were divorced at some time, and we get proof of that. Then we know that together they had or adopted a certain number of children. Now we need to work on those children if that other person is already deceased. Now we have to get the names of the children, their date of birth, and their address now. That's great, as long as everyone's still alive. If one of those children has passed, we have to build a separate affidavit for that one child, who would be probably a grown adult with children of their own. You can see it's already a little complicated, because the person that passed away did not have a will that gave us the heirship information that we needed to transfer title to another heir. If you know who the children are, whether it's one marriage, more than one marriage, you need the names of the children no matter what. If they were formally adopted, if they took them into their home to raise them, even if they weren't formally adopted, in Texas, that could also be a risk and something that we would have to clear up. In other states, may not be that way. I would suggest that if you don't know these answers to these questions, that you start to do a little work. I'll tell you, I've spent hours on Ancestry.com looking for relatives of people that own property. I live in a coastal community, a beach community that actually went through a hurricane in 2008. I opened a title company on the peninsula a few years back, and I learned while working there as an escrow officer, as I tried to cure problems, we looked at it as before Ike in 2008 and after Ike. After a hurricane, a lot of things change in a coastal community. If you live in a coastal community or a person in your family, those are some things you might want to learn. It was really, really interesting. We had a lot of different people that still lived in the community, and that makes it easier to deal with these questions that you have that you need answers to. And hopefully people are still living that were there that can swear to the facts, sign an affidavit of their knowledge about that person or that family. I can tell you that it's not easy, and it's usually very time consuming. If it's been many years, a lot of people have already passed as well. Keeping that in mind, I would say the sooner the better. When you are going to possibly be a family member or a child, an adult child that handles something like this, even a grandparent, a parent, parents are gone, maybe a sibling, maybe a cousin. If that's the case, you're going to have some knowledge that you can look into. Contact me and ask questions. I'm happy to help anytime. It's super important because if we can't create an affidavit of heirship to show who the heirs are, who's still living, who is not, and work from there, the property can't sell. If the seller can't get clear title to the property to be able to transfer it to a buyer, title insurance can't be issued, a lender can't loan on it, and you're going to be tied up for a very long time. I wanted to spark these questions. You can write it out as if it's a family tree. It's like that very much, and it will help you also get answers why people are here, because while they're here, it's a whole lot easier to get names of people. Thank goodness for Ancestry.com. I subscribe to it. It's not cheap, but it has helped me numerous times, not only in business, but in my own family. Maybe it's something that you do and then you can cancel if you're just trying to find information. Otherwise, start asking the questions, get with those family members. I'm not an attorney, but I have been doing this for over 4 decades in the title business and as a real estate agent. I've handled it all. So I can tell you it is not easy. It's very interesting if you're into mysteries, because a lot of times that's what you feel like. You feel like a private investigator trying to get all the facts and all the information. But it's crucial. It's very serious when you can't locate people. You're stuck and there's nothing you can do but hold on to this property. You can work with the title company and through the courts, but you're talking about a lot of time and a lot of money. The sooner you can get property sold, the easier it's going to be. I am not an attorney, so I definitely am not giving any legal advice. I would recommend you contact one if you feel like you may be in this situation in your future with the death of a loved one. So take care, and I will see you next time.